It is our quality time interview on Kansas Sports Chatter, an opportunity to talk a little bit longer with our next guests, and that'll be Simon Norman, the head coach of the Wichita Collegiate tennis teams. Hey, Coach, appreciate your time, and I know just coming off a state championship this past weekend, what's that feeling like a few days removed now?
Still feels pretty good. Still on a little bit of high on that one. We had just such a great bunch of girls, and we were so young. I don't think this was a year we were kind of counting on that, just because we were so young, and the girls all stepped up and rose to the occasion, and it was a really fun weekend.
Well, take me through the experience of the state meet. I know McPherson finished up with 36 points. You guys ended up with 43 points. What were kind of the tallies going through the whole weekend?
Yeah, we knew. I mean, McPherson was strong. Topeka Hayden was the defending champs, and they were strong. They had all 6 entries in as well. We did get the top seed in singles and doubles, so we knew that we had some points coming, but it didn't mean we were necessarily going to win those. I think McPherson, they were very deep, and I think they felt pretty confident. I think he said they ended up leaving a girl off the squad that got ninth at state last week. That's how strong and confident they were. So it came down to the wire. We played McPherson in a first round singles match on Friday, and then we played them in the semis of the doubles on Saturday, and we happened to win both of those, and both of those matches could have gone either way and had a huge bearing on the outcome. And then our number one singles player, Heather, just played like she's played all season and just kind of rolled through the singles, which, we were kind of hoping for. But the rest of the girls all contributed. It was nice that all 6 of our players contributed points, and that got us over the hump.
Or some of the close matches. Do you remember some of the really good ones that were pretty tight? You mentioned that semifinal matchup with McPherson. What were some of the other ones that were pretty close?
Yeah, we had a killer one Friday night. Our second doubles team had 4 match points to get into Saturday's play, and we lost that one. And then the first singles match, our second singles player played against McPherson was 7-5, 6-3, and that one's sitting at 5-all in the first set, and that's a toss-up match. And then the doubles semi-final was 4-4, and that was tight. Could have gone either way. Then the doubles final, we ended up winning 7-5, 6-3. So we went 6-1 on Saturday, which is pretty tough, to do when you're in the money rounds of the tournaments, and where the points are at stake. To go 6-1, I mean, you got to step up and play pretty solid there. And I think for being such a young team with 4 freshmen and a sophomore, I mean, to do that up in Kansas City where there's a couple of hundred people up there watching, it was pretty impressive, and a pretty good effort by the girls just to stay focused and put some of that outside stuff away.
Well, you look at the state championships through Wichita Collegiate over the years. I mean, it's getting hard to, keep up with all the math right now as far as how many in a row. But I mean, you look on the girls' side with that 17 straight, Coach. Like, now that it's over, at least for the girls' season, like, can you take a step back and realize, what you guys have accomplished? I know, like, what Dave Hawley started and what you have continued.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty incredible. I mean, when you think that it's kind of like college, you're turning those players over every 4 years. To do that 17 years in a row, if you think about how many players that involves, I mean, it's got to be well over 100 players. And just to keep churning it out, I think it's a testament to the program and what Dave set up, and the school and the support the school gives. And then I think the other crucial part of that is the excellent middle school program that Collegiate has, because it does act as a bit of a feeder system. A lot of times they're not ready to go as freshmen, but the thing is they come in and it's not like they're brand new tennis players, and it's nice to have that. I mean, we had 38 girls on our team. I know the middle school's got around 38 or 40 girls playing in middle school tennis. So that's a pretty good percentage of the population of collegiate students that are playing, high school tennis. And I think that's pretty cool.
With those championships, do you feel a sense of pressure going into the season, or do you kind of like that feeling?
Oh, I like it. I mean, it's good. I think sometimes it can be a little bit hard on the kids, but like anything, I mean, it's a good life lesson, and it doesn't mean you have to win. I mean, I never take that for granted. But if you do, then there's a pretty good sense of accomplishment. I mean, we lost the boys' title about 3 years ago to Kansas City Christian. We got second, and they were better than us. And, some years that's going to happen, and that's okay. You just reload and come back and do your best. But yeah, I never take it for granted, but it does add some pressure. I mean, 17 years in a row now, people are always, that's the thing. You walk into the state tournament, it's like you've got a big bullseye on your back,
Right.
because everyone wants to beat you.
Well, for you, you go back originally from New Zealand, came over to the States in the 1980s to play at Wichita State. What was that experience like for you coming over from New Zealand?
Oh, that was pretty cool. We had a fantastic team. We actually didn't have any Americans on the team, but we had a really good bunch of guys. I played 4 years. We actually got to 12 in the nation as a team, and it was just a lot of fun. I was actually in doing physical therapy, and after my sophomore year, they said, well, okay, you're done with tennis because now you have to go to school full time. And I was sort of like, you know what, I'm having too much fun with these guys. I'm going to keep playing for 4 years. So I didn't do the physical therapy. Just finished up my regular degree because the team was so much fun, just a great bunch of guys. And, I think that translates over. I mean, I had such a good experience in college, and I want the girls and the guys at Collegiate to have a great experience there. I had some really good years at Independent, when we were pretty good. So I just like being around that team atmosphere and, making the kids have a good time, or try to help them have a good time.
So did you grow up with tennis? Like, at what age did you kind of get interested in the sport?
Yeah, I was pretty young, probably 5. My dad built a grass court in our backyard, and then I played a lot in juniors. I won a couple of national doubles titles in New Zealand. I represented New Zealand in junior tennis over there in international competition, and then played on in Europe for a year. Played Wimbledon qualifying and a bunch of sort of money tournaments over in Europe and stuff. So I was pretty into it.
So you had a court in your backyard. Were you out there all the time?
Oh yeah, I was out there all the time. Just had friends over all the time, but it was pretty low key. I mean, I never had any tennis lessons or anything like that. It was just kind of, get out there and smack the ball around and kind of learn what works and what doesn't. So it's a little different than the atmosphere today, but it was just pretty much backyard ball and just, learn how to play and compete. Just, on your own, no lessons. I think I had my first lesson when I was about 14.
So was the idea always to come over to the United States for college to play, or when did that kind of sink in?
No, when I finished high school, my parents weren't real happy. I went with about 4 other guys to Australia, to Melbourne, to train for a year. My parents thought I was going to go to university, so they weren't too excited about that. And then the next year I decided to go to Europe. But a funny story was we had 3 guys that I grew up with. There were 3 of us that played for Wichita State at the same time. And the first guy, we were playing the New Zealand men's nationals, and there were 2 scholarships, and we flipped a coin. He was going to take a scholarship either to Austin Pay or Wichita State. And we'd just finished our New Zealand National Open, and we were sitting around playing poker at the end of the tournament, and he was like, well, which one do I go to? And the 3 of us, we said, well, let's just flip a coin. So we flipped a coin, and it came up Wichita State. So he ended up coming here, and the other guy and I went to Europe to play for a year. And then the other guy with me in Europe came to Wichita State, and I went to University of New Zealand. And they were sending me all these messages about how great it was going to LA and Florida and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I need to be doing that, not studying in New Zealand, where university is quite a bit harder than it is here. So that's kind of how that evolved.
Man, life-changing decisions over the coin flip in a poker game. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Like, after you're done with Wichita State, like, what was your course of action? Did you know you wanted to coach right away?
Well, the guys played at that time, the Wichita Racket Club. So I was teaching there. And then I fell in love with teaching tennis. And, I did a lot of Missouri Valley stuff. And then my kids grew up playing tennis. They played actually all sports, but they both played a lot. So I was coaching them, and they played in high school. Both of them won state singles 3 times, and I was coaching, and it was very fun to be on the court or at the court when those guys were playing. And then they both played D1 tennis at Creighton. And then I coached a lot of Missouri Valley stuff, sectional teams on national tournaments like in Shreveport, Louisiana. They have a big national tournament there for teams for all 17 sections across the country. And I coached the Missouri Valley boys and girls team there for 3 years, and just enjoyed traveling and coaching teams of kids. So that was always a passion of mine.
When you started up at Collegiate a few years ago, Coach, what was that exchange like between you and Dave Hawley, that relationship, and just, taking over for what he already accomplished?
Yeah, it was sort of interesting. I was coaching at Independent, and I've been there for about 20 years, and then the program had just really sort of gone down. We'd been very good, and I just had enough over there. It just wasn't the same. We weren't even fielding barely a full squad. And anyway, I said quit Independent, and then Dave said, "Well, are you interested in staying in high school coaching?" I said, "Yeah, I am." And he said, "Well, why don't you come over?" He says, "I don't know when I'm going to retire, but we can start off doing a year together and then see." And so I went over there and did a year with Dave. And then he said, well, he was done with the high school, but he would still do the middle school. And so I was going to interview with Collegiate, but it was sort of interesting because they didn't get a whole lot of takers on it, because I'm not sure too many people were interested in stepping in after somebody's won, 15 in a row or something, because there's not really a lot of upside to that. So, like, if you're talking about pressure, I think people are like, yeah, I don't really want that, because if I don't win, I'm probably out of there. So I was like, yeah, I'm all in. So I don't mind doing that. I mean, I know I could coach the kids, and the nice thing there was you've got such a big program and such a good feeder system in the middle school that you're going to have plenty of kids. It's just a matter of bringing out the talent that the kids have. And I would say the kids at Collegiate do have a bit of an advantage, because a lot of them play, over at Genesis or the Country Club or Crestview. So a lot of them have played and had some lessons. So it's not like you're bringing in, most of the time just ranked beginners.
Sure. What was the celebration like? I mean, I know it's becoming old hat at Collegiate, but what was the celebration like immediately after the state championship over the weekend?
I mean, that's part of the fun, to see these girls, especially so young with some years in front of them. And it was almost a little, I guess, a bit of disbelief that they'd done it, I suppose. And they were just so excited. And we make all the girls ride home in the school van. They're not allowed to go with their parents and stuff, because I just sit in the front seat and put my earmuffs on, or now and again they get me in the conversation, but they just doing their thing. Whether it's the girls or the guys, it's just a lot of fun to see them enjoying it and sort of relishing that success and saying, hey, this is fun, we want to do this some more.
Hey, Coach, appreciate it. Heck of an accomplishment, and we'll catch up with you in the springtime, all right?
Okay, sounds great. Thanks for having me on.
That is Simon Norman, the head coach of the Wichita Collegiate tennis teams, coming off another state championship.